Right. I am seeing a lot of anxiety in the rooms, and this is completely normal. That your anxiety response is up, and that you feel frustrated, and that you're not sure where we are. It's completely normal. You just extended yourself as a creative being and put your stuff out in the world. It's not like a regular job where you get a performance evaluation at the end of the year. You put part of your heart into what you just sent to Micah, and not knowing whether or not he's going to say, he's never going to say it's spot on. It just isn't going to happen, right? We wrote these things fast. This isn't necessarily your genre. You are learning a new way of plotting. So what you're going to get from him is going to help you into the next stage. But what we want is we want everything to be perfect. And we want to hear, you did great. But I'm here to tell you that you did great. What I wanted to see in that round of writing was that you could take feedback and implement it like a pro. Because there are people who get feedback and throw a tizzy fit. I've been a book coach for a long time, and I've seen people who absolutely cannot take feedback. And rather than go away and do that privately, because of course we all throw a tizzy fit, we get it. We're like, what are you talking about? Of course oh no, I see, I didn't. What's in my head isn't actually on the page. So your anxiety is up. And what I did, sorry, I'm double backing. What I did was make sure that everyone can take feedback and implement it. Now it's gone on to Micah, and Micah is going to help us get tone and pacing and tropes. And that's just amazing. It's amazing that we've got somebody doing this for us. While you're waiting, some people are forging ahead, but we haven't finished doing the training bit of learning how to use take off your pants. So in some groups, you're talking in circles. But you're not talking in circles because you're not understanding it. It's because you're talking about different things. You're actually talking about different elements. And if you get the same vocabulary down, you're going to be just fine. Everyone is doing just fine. I want you to be a little bit kinder to yourself. You are stepping into a space where, in the beginning, you did not believe that you were going to make dime one. You didn't know what kind of training I was going to give you. You didn't know whether or not you could write post-apoc. So you're learning, almost everybody is learning a new genre, learning a new way of actually organizing their own work. So learning about plotting. I'm a pantser. For me, it's like, oh God, how am I supposed to know? I don't know that. Loser. Right? So you're learning these new things. And Story Genius is so dense. And that was my mistake. I did make a mistake. I shouldn't have done those two things at the same time. Take Off Your Pants is hard enough as it is. Story Genius is super hard. And if you do the personal layer that's involved in Story Genius, if you start thinking about your own misbeliefs, when I was teaching the course, we had people melt down. We had people leave the course. I have somebody who went into therapy. And this is like 3 years later, she's still in therapy because of what she dug up when she was working on Story Genius. So this is not easy stuff. And I see your misbelief in action. All the people who are freaking out about the deadline. I got the deadline wrong. I didn't do it right. We weren't on time. Oh my God, we missed it. You're beating yourself up because you're not good enough. And the way to be good enough is to meet the deadline and meet someone else's expectation. This brings me to one of my pet peeves. So, there are all these arguments that go on between trad and indie. And indie writers have been crapped upon a little bit by the trad pigeons. And one of the ways in which I see a lot of indie writers push back is to say, well, I don't need that pat on the head. I don't need somebody to say that I'm okay. But that actually is a massive disservice to people who were trained, one way or the other, to do what's right. And possibly, if they didn't do what's right, have their parents withdraw their love. Now, it's not a one-to-one correlation, and it's probably not what parents mean, But when you have parents who only celebrate an A, you only get the gold star, good for you, great. When you get an A, they don't understand your learning modality. It's the 1970s or the 1980s, and ADHD hasn't really been diagnosed. Nobody really knows what to do about it. Teaching hasn't gotten to a place where people really take into account how students learn, what kind of learning modality best suits them, that we don't know about auditory, visual, and kinesthetic learners. The kinesthetic learners are screwed because they need to move things and touch things and move around and have things that they can actually manipulate, because that's how they learn. But we didn't know that. So those kids didn't get A's. And what their parents did was they've got a kid in the family who is getting A's, and they're like, yes, let's go for a meal. And when the kid who can barely sit still in class sits still for a whole day, nobody acknowledges that they did something that was Herculean for them. So when I see people say, oh, you need that pat on your head, I think, you know what? Back up. You're dealing with some really, really deep shit here. Really deep. The need to meet other people's expectations is a profound thing. We are a herd species. A lot of us do a lot of stuff on our own, but look how easily we're swayed. There's lots and lots of studies about how groupthink works and how we get sucked into going along with other people. So I'm here to say, one, take better care of yourselves. Understand that you're activated. A lot of people are activated. A lot of people are scared right now. And I would offer you, at least this isn't trad, because, then we would be waiting for 5, 6, 7 months. And then we would do 7, 8, 9 rewrites because our agent moved to another house, or, it was going up for auction, but then somebody said something about this subplot. So, we're waiting days and not months, but still. Honor the fact that you're having anxiety. Honor the fact that you're learning a new genre, a new way of plotting, and you're working in a group at something that ordinarily is done on your own. You're tackling something that is possibly going to be one of the hardest things you ever do in your life, and you are doing fabulously. You are truly doing fabulously. So be a bit kinder to yourself. And remember that you're doing a good job. All right, I'll be back with more craft. This is just a pep talk, sorry.